What do you guys smart? Okay. Let's just stand up for a second. Okay. Let's gather around here for a bit. Chart explaining various attacks. Okay. And come on in. You can't see from back there. Is given that. Also, when you're standing here, you're more easily knocked down. And then that's usually what people try. Really push you, get you off balance. You're on the ground. You don't know what to do unless you know how to roll, right? But here you're in a stable position. He could move. He could try to grab this, but boom. Well, so this is forward, all right? And boom, this hand can go. Or you can step back. All right? Okay. So those are just a couple of things right there. That's fine. But, you know, in terms of my own particular teaching, you know, be conscious of what, you know, how you're presenting yourself. Okay. Yeah, I had that cross, which a lot of people don't. You don't have to. But my thought a little bit right there, for example, I'm just going to make it, you know, but he comes at me right there. Right? If I'm at that cross step, see, I'm off the line. Let's just do this as a stretching motion. And see, you know, you're seating the motion. Nobody grabs your wrist, except maybe you'll grab it because, okay, right? And the level of you, now I'm putting a lot of facts here, but as you become more conscious how you present, you become more conscious of your own energy, okay? The docente, for example, like Bobby, Robert, you know, like that. You know, Bobby is kind of like this, okay? You know, Robert's a little bit more sophisticated, you know. Wada is has a sense of self-command. I mean, so that level, as you sort of start to insert and fit the situation. So let's just, what I'd like you to do, be conscious of a triangle. I'm not going to present this way. Okay, right about this. Okay, so we just use that as a stretch, but also just how did I get in this situation? Well, I knew it was coming, so I centered a little bit. I got a pretty good sense how I'm going to handle that situation. That's what we're working on here. Okay, so let's just start with the triangle. Okay, right? Yeah, this is subtle thing, subtle. Before you make that move in, make sure you get a connection right here. Right? I don't want to make that motion until I got something. Not a pull, but you know, there's a gravity here. All right. And I like that step in the middle because in some sense it's like, okay, I'm covering more ground. You know, I gotta go here, now I gotta take a big step there, but a little step. All right. All right. So it's so good. Yes. So you get the connection. Right? For example, here you let go. Oh, good. So maybe you hold. Okay, good. Either way, I mean, you're not passively being grabbed. That's the other thing. You know what I mean? You have to come this way. Then all of a sudden, you know, whatever the movements are, you know, we can go into a variety of different moves. You move free and easy. All right. You know, some of the time my movement in, and so like there's that little voice in my center, and all of a sudden that changes. I have a connection. Not my center here. Okay. So that's all that is. I mean, you know, this point where you kind of want to And having your center, it's a little bit more aware of, the spacing of it. Well, see, the spacing's wrong here. And, I'm wide open right here, right? So I'm going to create that situation as best I can. So. Okay, let's try this. Okay, and for what we were talking about here, he grabs shoulder. Okay, now on this one, you're much more apt to get grabbed on the shoulder. For example, one thing that would happen, I'm standing here, and all of a sudden he grabs both shoulders. Okay, all right, now you still have to make something out of that. But that's a trickier one because my body is facing square to his, and my ability to turn, you see, is maybe compromised. So what I have to be able to do is inside his strength. His strength is out here. Okay, inside his strength. I may have to manufacture that position. Okay. Yes. Well, the mote ura are usually what happens when you write all the techniques down on the blackboard. Okay. Basically, what I'm looking at is, I'm in more of a square position. You're not going to walk around going, "Hi, how are you?" I used to do this to my daughter just to kind of freak her out. And she said, "Dad, why are you so weird?" I said, "I'm just messing with you a little bit." Okay, you can't walk around going, "Hi." You're going to be this way. But, let's just say at this particular point, then, okay, man, what are you going to do? He's strong. Okay, I can't turn. Okay, so from inside his strength, I'm going to rotate. Now this hand, we go this way. All right, you're much more apt to get that. You see what I mean? Much more apt. Somebody's going to grab you and they're going to go, shake you around, do something. You're not going to have to fight Bruce Lee. If you do, you're going to lose. You see, all right? So one of the things here is he's really strong out there, but he's not quite so strong in here, is he? So here, I'm going to go the other side. Yeah, I'm out here where he's strong. If I'm in the middle here, okay, now we could do a variety of things. What we're going to do, I'm going to rotate my hip. I'm going to come in. We have that technique still. You have to work a little harder to manufacture that one. But you see the difference? Now, if he tries to do that, and I'm like this, and see, boom, sorry. He doesn't get it, right? You're standing in a triangular position, not in a square, flat-footed position, but we're not going to live our lives standing this way. Okay, so we have to have a little bit of right from here. What I'm going to do is rotate, or anything else, hold real strong. I can't move my there, but I can move my hips here and redistribute my weight. And I'm creating the lane. Just like Stephen Curry stepping back, he can shoot out to 40 feet. So then he creates a driving angle for himself. You have to be able to read the situation and learn to harmonize with it. Okay, all right, okay. So this time it's going to be two shoulders. We don't do this too much. A real kata, all right. Now, there's a lot of things you can do, but nobody comes here to learn how to poke people in the eyes and knee them in the groin, although that's possible. Okay? All right? Common sense. If you need it, use it. Not in class. Okay? So in class, what we're going to do is okay, boom. I'll step back. Now, this hand, I'm going to rotate my hips. I still do that cross step. I'm stepping, and we got that motion. Okay? Let's rotate, work with a different partner. Real kata dori. Let's do that. Okay. Anyway, keep going. Okay. Okay, let's take a quick look here. All right. And one of the things we're kind of noticing is the whole principle of the unbendable arm. So he extends his arm out, okay? And, he puts water. This is the nozzle of the hose. And that's the fire at the hose. You can't see this. If you control the nozzle, you control the stream of the strength. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. Huh? So he's going to grab both shoulders. I'm going this way. No, be strong like this. So somebody control the nozzle. So for me, I don't want to put the hand right in the middle because okay, I'm trying to bend. See, somebody's holding you. They're spinning their key, whether they know about key or not. Okay, you see what I mean? Yeah. In order for me to do that, I'm going to reach for something. I'm extending my energy in that direction. So when somebody's energy and power is extended, you don't want to push on that. Okay, so from here. Now I'm going to cut back. We have that motion. Well, if he's coming to grab or something, he's just saying the word. It's to actual read his intention. And if he's extending for you, good. Well, there are other things that are very, very easy to do. If he grabs you, okay. Does that make sense? I don't know if you could teach that in a general ed class, although I wish people would. You say, read the situation. Everything in Aikido is based on extension, right? And you've all done the energy arm. Okay. So what you want to be able to do with somebody is not go at their area of strength. The nozzle is supposed to be flexible. It's a hose, not a pipe. Pipes don't attack people. Well, somebody's got a pipe and they're going to hit you with it. That's not the pipe attacking you, that's personal. Okay. So what I would add a little bit to that is, now once he firms up a little bit, I'm going to get caught here trying to do an Aikido move. See, his power is out there and it's going towards me. I'm inside his power where I can start to work the nozzle. Well, he could just fall, but I don't want him to. He's just going to be able to, in a little tighter quarters, execute that motion. Okay? It's important to have flexibility. I know a general technique, good. So we'll mess around a little bit and you can see how that may or may not apply in certain situations. Okay? And this is not about technique. To use Nadeau Sensei's phraseology, Bobby is general ed. Robert is a smart person that knows that general ed is very limited. Nadeau has a rather extensive knowledge base. Okay, and it's not up here, it's more here. So we want to go, okay. So let's continue one last time on that one. Okay, let's look at that a bit. Okay, now here we're kind of standing non-triangle. Okay, now one of the things about it is that his power is out there, and you may change it. If you grab me, it has to be extended. Okay. So before I take a step, I'm going to rotate my hips, and I create what Einstein might call a gravity well. Well, you could fall, but I'm going to practice that. Okay? So try it again. Rotate your hips before you take that step. Rotate your hips. If you're going to go that, no, you got to go the other way. Go the other way. Okay, now rotate your hips slowly. Don't rush it. Now take your step. Back. And now, okay, now that by itself may throw him. but it might not. And we're also practicing how you can step in and do your step. Now, now you're going to have to engage the other half of your body. Reinsert. I'm going to adjust my foot position. So here, hand engages, that same hand, but I'm engaging, the other half of my body here. Here, now be strong like this. Here, his power is outside. My power is inside. So we're creating a flow. Okay. And that's the single thing that happens is that, oftentimes it's good. In class, we cooperate with each other. We're not supposed to fight. But on the other hand, we need something to look at situations and look at them to where, for example, you go here, right? You're stepping back with your right. Now, what I'm going to do is rotate. I'm going to cross, counter rotate, step in. So it's a side that kind of goes this way. Right? That's the side that's going to move in. Okay, just grab this too. Okay. I'm out here doing something I think I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to reading the situation. Pull or something. So this power must, the fire hose has a nozzle. You can deal with a hose, or you can control the nozzle. But what is the most important thing in controlling the nozzle? It's us. We can know that, but in the physical situation, which is a prototype for maybe what we would do outside. Okay. If you don't do it here, you're probably going to not do it if you ever need this. So I know what to do, when to do it. I got the nozzle. Okay. I'm not going to try to bend the hose. I'm going to redirect the flow of water there. All right. Now, see, when I rush this way straight on, it's going to escalate. It's going to brace. So, okay. And, I could say, okay, now I'm going to do this flow. And he kind of just stalls. It's an opening motion. Okay. You can be the young American agent, or you can be Sean Connery. In motion. Same thing. We'll work on this one, somebody thinking. In motion, you're still. I'm staring at the hydrant and getting blasted by the fire hose water. Does that make sense? Run. I'm freezing. No, I'm going to locate the nozzle. Now, this is a tricky point. Well, I want to get hit with that stream myself. So maybe what I do is, that's tricky here. All right. But you're going to minimize your exposure to that. And like this. See, everybody here pretty much knows how to do it. But we must work on when you make your move. Using the Do Sensei's mythology, is it Bobby doing the move? Is it Robert doing the move? Or is it Margot doing the move? You see what I mean? I could say Jackie, Jack, whatever. He likes that. I think you get what I'm saying here. We're training either go from Bobby to Robert to Nado or to whatever. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Let's rotate. Let's do a different part. We're going to open it up a bit. Okay. Other things that we might kind of look at, for example, is, given this one, the actual step back motions here, right? But he may pull back. Okay, now if he does, he changed the cadence. Okay. Well, if you're police officers, when do you draw your gun, when do you not? That's something that I'm not gonna, I don't want a gun. So, but what happens if he pulls back? Hold on, okay, this one we have this motion. Okay, there's other ones we could use, but he's still, all right? So he's not, I'm not trying to do that, but all of a sudden, go back. Okay, the nozzle's over there. Okay. The nozzle is flying around that way. Somebody's got to go in there and control the nozzle. You may get hit by the fire hose. It takes skill. Okay, but there are changes. Okay. See, there's no reason why you can't just go this way from the beginning. And we usually practice. Okay, we're going to practice the EQ off of a real kata. But surprisingly, we don't do that too much. The real kata is something that you'll probably run into much more than just a kata ability. Okay. So let's just we'll just from here. Same thing. I'm going to control the nozzle. Now right here, that first step. Do I do that and then step, or do I take a big step and try to knock it down and surprise him? Those are general ed Bobby moves. Robert at least knows, I don't quite get this yet. Meadow Sensei has enough depth that you realize this is just a step, and there are things you do there. It's easy, okay, knock him down first, step. Take the big step and surprise him. Those are Bobby moves. Robert knows enough to have a ground in the center. He says, I need to go a little deeper here. Okay, you see what I mean? And Nadol, using that mythology, so to speak, right? And he's solid here. It changed the angle. Okay, my car is going into his. But if I just rotated it, look past that. See, right about here, there's no problem. And right here, jiu-jitsu, you kind of really work the elbow, but you extend through it. Since we're down here, let's do the pin. It's an omote, okay? Real kata, omote. Now, if he's coming in, I can, if he's charging at me, I might be able to distract him a little bit. Two grab, there goes.
Right.
Rotate your hip before you turn the wrist. And okay. Just kind of in the development. I'm speaking in terms of situations. You're not laid back, but you're easy with it. Okay, and if we use the Connery thing, we don't want to be American style. We got more guns, bigger guns. But things like that get us caught in situations like Afghanistan. And it would be a much better world if instead of putting our army in places, we had better relations with other cultures, working relationship with the Taliban. I know that sounds crazy, but maybe the Taliban wouldn't be the Taliban and we wouldn't be the American style. That's why I thought the Connery remark was kind of funny. I said, yeah, we got more guns, you can fire more guns, and then you're stuck in places you don't want to be. As opposed to, I know we have grave differences in terms of political, cultural philosophy. Let's start the dialogue and work together. So we don't have situations like Afghanistan. And in the pandemic, let's start to work together. I know I have religious issues, but I realize that's why I'm putting a lot of people in trouble. And I don't want to give my personal freedom up, but on the other hand, I'm a potential lethal weapon if I get infected. If we could do that, it would be a better world. It would be a world not of bodies. It would be a world of nados. You get what I'm saying a bit? Yeah. And then, but Osaka kind of talking about things like create a better world. He was talking about, I'm trying to set an example for you people. If everybody was like me, there'd be no wars. Basically nature and humanity would work together and we would get along. We would resolve our issues. We'd create a beautiful world. Okay. And, I think people miss that. That's all I see over the philosophy. I know it. Yeah. He was that. Okay. So let's switch to the real kata dori ikyo omote. That's a name. Real kata dori ikyo omote o imi. It's different partner. Okay, now we're changing. Okay, it starts out exactly the same. We're doing this, still working on all of it. So we go this way. Now here, bring him in. Now right here it bogs down because we start to try to lift the arm as opposed to. Okay. So what we did before was go this way. Now this hand's going to be here. Now this is where it breaks down a lot. In class, it was smooth, and all of a sudden somebody puts your weight here. Rotate your hip before you try to turn the wrist. Yeah. And right here, instead of putting my weight, I'm just going to keep extending that way. Okay. Most techniques, if I watch, the Yankee tie, are really based on the raising, cutting motions of the sword. The Yeshiva Sensei's movement is almost all spear. Okay, for example, here, it's a thrusting motion. Now I can make it into because it's easier to teach. It's a cutting motion. Ooh. Okay, but you see how the spear is withdrawn and thrusting. See, instead of trying to control this, I'm just going to thrust out. He becomes the spear point. We can think about the water hose, the fire hose with the nozzle, but then the spear has the tip. Okay. So, for example, here, you kill. I'm going to try. But boom, it's a thrusting motion. Okay. And we don't see that. But Washington spent many hours with a spear. And of course, sword is easier to reach. It's enough balance. Here, that's what most everything, even this one right here. Remember this one? It's a trusting motion. You know, but what is setting that trusting motion up is a skillful movement of your feet and your hips. And also, we learn the pace. We don't do it American style. We do it Sean Connery style. Okay, you see what I mean? Thank your partner. Thank your partner. Okay. Thank your partner. You got a couple of minutes. Dorian, I'm just going to borrow this for a second. Okay, sure. All right. Dorian, just be careful if you do this because you know you're creating a potential hazard for yourself. Okay, but a lot of the movements from Aikido, it's a spear thrust. Boom. Okay, now this movement up and down to set up that motion. Boom, boom, boom. Movements up and down and around. Okay, but see if I'm doing this, there's a motive force to boom, your ki going out like an arrow being fired. Now you may set that up with all these movements, but that all these movements have that boom, that motion. Okay, and you know, this is yours. Okay, he's big. Yeah, I get caught up in the up and down. Okay. Now, that's that thrust. Let's set up the thrust. Boom, boom. Okay. Your ki goes out that way. It's almost like, you know, in the fire hose thing. You are also the fire hose with a nozzle. And obviously, there's a big fire. I mean, you know, you could, but you might just sense out, I'm going to position that where it does the best, you know, get the best value for that stream there. I might not want to go like this and just sort of throw the water around the wall. I might want to go there. Okay, so one of the things, here she's coming, this is motion. Boom. Now, right there's the up down. But that's his game. He's big. So your ki must be adaptable. The up-down movements are important, but a lot of your ki is like that arrow in flight. And that's a state where your mind and your body, kind of what you might call your spirit, are focused. Okay? There are a lot of energies going too many directions. Okay. We kind of want to be able to do, it's a laser. It's a laser. And that's an adaptable laser. If I need to go this way, it needs to go this way, can go down this way. Each of those directions is like a thrust. And learning how to do that, because you know the up-down movement of the sword, yeah, there's movement up-down, but the movement up-down is to set that up. All the ability to change, understand pacing, understand when. But if you have that, see, the arrow or the spear point is not to kill. It's to look at our own stupidity, to be honest with you. To see things in a simple, direct light. And if it's very complex, you keep chipping away at it until the heart of your own beingness is in tune with the heart of what the situation is. And if it's that way, then we oftentimes move in a good way. You know, since I said, you know, create a better world, create a wonderful world. Why? Too much division, too much activity, too much separation. So if we could just go to the heart of it, we'd say, yeah. And that's past even Robert, I think. You know, the docent, there are other dimensions of a real not that so much, but okay. If we come in this direction, then it's now, you know, I get to see how my hips are a part of that process. See how my feet are supporting my hips to be a part of that process. And you see right here, when I get entangled in the arm and boom, I gotta shift back. Okay. And when you can do that, you acquire a kind of a power that enhances your harmony. And you're putting that power into creating a consensus. This is tricky. It looks like, well, I'm going to dominate somebody. You know, it'd be really nice if you could. You say, oh, you stupid people that don't get vaccinated, you're going to get vaccinated. But we have, you know, that then would become part of a problem that we might have to face later. It's a very tricky area that way. But, you know, if we can sort of say, well, you know, he's dead. Okay, good. He's dead, arrow in flight. That's key. Well, sometimes, for example, here we go. But you know what else? There's movement up and around, but the finish is always like that thrust. Okay? And that one, by the way, it takes you a long time, you know, to actually say, what is that about? Well, it's very simple. The things like, you know, the next level of Sir Robert, all right? It's simple for them. It's simple level. Everything that's complex is reduced to kind of this basic simplicity. And so you see things in a very direct way. And therefore your knowledge of the judgments you need to make on the discernments. I need to draw my gun if I'm an officer right here. But I don't need to fire it. Okay. All right. So, you know, it's a funny area right there. Oh, since I would say it's always Shin Ten, it's always live blade training. And, you know, it's really less about live blade, I'm going to take you down. Live blade is dealing with one's own complexity and over complexity or oversimplification. We're right on point in the situation. That's the thrust. Okay. Since we're here. Now this is also a thrusting motion. It looks like an up-down. But I want you to see that my body is positioning for that. And of course, you can also that way. And I get caught up in the up-down. I get caught up in twisting. I get caught up in the height. I get caught. Yeah, I don't go that way. I actually thrust this towards this one. Okay. So let's ease in last 7 minutes or so. Concept to Wada. Remember, right here. You raise a lot. Boom. You control the nozzle. Now, rotate your hip before you try to turn the wrist. And here it can come in underneath. So make sure that you're positioning over here. Okay. Let's change partners. One last. Once you give me that, I'll put it back in you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just a couple of things I just kind of wanted to kind of mention that you can begin to work on. For example, if you come in here, you have to grab this front. All right. Now, what it is a little bit, where's my weight? My weight's in my shoulders and arms. Now, what I'm going to do a little bit is put the weight here and just widen my base a bit. That's just this motion, it doesn't it? He grabs both shoulders. Maybe he pushes or pulls or something. Okay. So, I'm going to keep the weight in my hand. I'll just widen my base a little bit. Okay. It's really a lot of this is you problem solve, and for Bobby, problems are very immense. For Robert's more capable. Nado understands flow of it. Let's give him a title and say Sir Robert. So we want to be in the Sir level. Okay. In Japanese, for example, there's the San level, but there's the Sama level. Sama is kind of like Sir. Jaku-sama. Okay. Okay. Right. So that's just a way of saying what level of me am I in this moment. Okay. If I'm in a Bobby level, I get drawn out. If I'm at the Robert level, I have a little bit more composure. I understand, that I need to keep my center. If I'm in a Nado level, then, capability. Right? If I was in a Sir Robert level, then that's very cool. Okay? Right? And for example here, well, all we're doing right there is just simply the whole trunk. Okay. All I'm doing is putting the weight here. I may widen that base a bit. So I do that. Okay. And problems draw us out. The question is, I'm drawing out to Bobby. Robert is a little better. Nado is a little deeper. So we have a technique. Okay. So that's something that we can kind of work on a bit. You'll kind of notice with the technique senses. They're kind of like Zen koan. Okay. And a koan is a spiritual puzzle you're given in Zen to solve. And so, one of the major ones is in Aikido, who am I? Who's doing the technique? So, you find that Robert has a bit more balance than Bobby does. And Nado has a bit more balance than Robert does. When you get to the Sir realm, things are very smooth and effortless because in some sense you're able, you may be drawn out, but you get to that other level pretty quick. And then what happens is that what appears to be insurmountable, you think, oh, okay, all I'm doing is just widening my base and keeping my weight in my center. Okay. That frees the system up. If I try to get heavier or stronger, I escalate the situation. All right. All right. I come at him with a tank, he comes back at me with an aircraft carrier. Doesn't work. But if we get down to basics and say, look, we could cause mass extinction, or we can both prosper, and people can live together in some form of harmony, even though we're different. Right? Then I think those entities would be very happy to kind of promote that interchange through Aikido. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we do have to clean, so we need to spray the mats and kind of wipe them. I get the fans and everything, but if you could do that pretty quickly, I appreciate it. That's okay. All right, thank you. Yeah.